All right, dive in with me here. You had some really interesting questions about like introducing your little one to the world of swimming. And to help us navigate those, we're joined by, we're going to be talking about Sasha.
Oh,
She's this amazing award-winning swim instructor from Australia.
wow. Australia.
Yeah, and she works specifically with babies and toddlers.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? So, what's so cool about Sasha's approach is this emphasis on starting young.
Okay.
And I don't mean like tossing them in at 6 months for, rigorous training, not at all.
Right.
She's talking about those early weeks, even as young as 6 weeks old, where it's all about gentle, playful interactions.
The 6 weeks. I think a lot of us might be picturing like a tiny little newborn and thinking, swimming. Seriously.
Yeah.
But her point is that it's about building that comfort, that confidence in the water right from the start. It's almost like easing them back into that watery world they just left.
Exactly. And it's not about formal lessons or anything intense at that point. It's about tapping into those natural reflexes babies have, those innate abilities to hold their breath when their face is submerged.
All right.
And crucially, it like lays the groundwork for a positive association with water.
Yeah, you're not starting with that fear or pressure.
Yeah.
You're starting with those gentle splashes, happy coos.
Yeah. And Sasha completely debunks that old school method of forced submersion, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
She's really adamant that forcing a baby underwater can be way more harmful than good.
Yeah.
Think about those early experiences. They really shape their whole perception of the water.
Right.
Trauma at 6 months old, that can have a lasting impact.
Oh, for sure. It's like anything else. You want to set them up for success.
Yeah.
And Sasha emphasizes that building confidence, it happens at both the child's pace and the parent's pace.
So true. Because oftentimes it's like the parents who are nervous or hesitant
Right.
and that anxiety, it can totally transfer to the baby.
Oh, yeah.
Sasha stresses the importance of open communication between the parent and child, respecting those individual comfort levels, working together.
Totally. It becomes this beautiful bonding experience
Yeah.
rather than a source of stress.
Absolutely.
And I love how she uses the science behind a baby's natural development to inform her techniques.
Yeah.
Did you know that babies under 6 months have this incredible reflex where they automatically hold their breath when water touches their forehead?
It's true.
It's wild.
They can't consciously control it yet, but she leverages that reflex to introduce the feeling of water on their face in a really safe, controlled way.
She talked about using a watering can, gently pouring water from ear to ear while making eye contact with the baby.
It's amazing.
It's fascinating because she's not just pouring water, she's building, trust.
Right, it's all connected.
Yeah.
And then around 3 months old, she starts incorporating these trigger words like baby, ready, go, while pouring the water from the back of the head to the front.
Oh, interesting.
This is where things start to get really interesting from a developmental standpoint.
Because it's not just about getting them used to the water anymore. It's about their brains starting to, connect those dots.
Precisely. Initially, those trigger words are just sounds, but they act as this consistent cue before that water touches their face.
Right.
Sasha even encourages parents to use those phrases outside of water play,
Oh, wow.
in a bathtub, during diaper changes, even just hanging out on the couch.
Wow. So it becomes, ingrained in their routine.
Yes.
But here's the amazing part. Once babies hit around 6 months old, something incredible happens.
What happens?
They begin to consciously associate those trigger words with the act of holding their breath.
Oh, wow.
It's like this light bulb moment where they transition from a purely reflexive response to an intentional action.
It's a game changer. And this sets the stage for intentional submersion, but always at the baby's pace, never forced.
Which makes perfect sense. This conversation is making me think about all the little things we do as parents that might seem insignificant but can actually have a big impact on our baby's relationship with water.
Right?
Like how we wash their hair.
Oh, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
such an important point, and one that often gets overlooked. The way we instinctively wash our baby's hair can actually disrupt that natural breath-holding reflex
Yeah.
and create a negative experience.
It's true. I remember dreading bath time with my niece for this very reason. The second that water hit her face, it was just instant meltdown mode.
Oh, yeah.
Every time.
Makes total sense when you think about it from a sensory perspective.
Right.
That constant stream of water on their forehead during hair washing it can really overstimulate their breath-holding reflex. So they're stuck in this loop of trying to catch their breath,
Oh, wow.
which can be really uncomfortable and really distressing for a little one.
No wonder some babies start associating bath time with anxiety. But Sasha has some like good tips for kind of navigating this, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She advocates for this gradual desensitization process.
Okay.
So it's not about just throwing them in the deep end, so to speak.
Right.
Instead, start with something gentle, like a damp washcloth,
Okay.
and slowly work your way up to, small amounts of water, all while still using those trigger words to prepare them for what's coming.
Yeah. It's amazing how powerful those trigger words can be. And this approach isn't just for babies either. Sasha has found it to be like effective with toddlers and even older children who maybe have developed a fear of water on their faces.
Totally, because it all comes back to creating a predictable and positive experience.
Mm.
You're like essentially rewiring their association with water.
Right.
You're shifting it from a source of anxiety to a source of like fun and comfort.
Yeah, I love that.
And this ties into another like really brilliant aspect of Sasha's philosophy, incorporating swimming skills into everyday activities,
Yes.
even outside of the pool.
This is where things get really creative. We already talked about the power of trigger words, but she like takes it a step further. She gives the example of like sitting on the couch with your baby, maybe they're watching their favorite show,
Right.
and using that time to practice like arm movements.
Yeah.
Baby, ready, go pedal, pedal, pedal. It's like sneaking in a mini swim lesson without even like getting wet.
Exactly. And it might seem silly, but those little moments, they add up.
Right, right.
Remember, babies, they learn through repetition and play.
Totally.
So by incorporating these movements into those everyday routines, you're not only building that muscle memory, you're also, reinforcing those positive associations with water. And you're turning learning into this fun, shared experience.
Yeah, I love that. And the beauty of her approach is that it doesn't require like any special equipment or a fancy pool. You can literally do this anywhere.
Anywhere.
Speaking of which, she also had some great ideas for incorporating these principles into bath time.
Oh, absolutely. One technique she recommends is gradually increasing the water level as your baby becomes more comfortable.
Okay.
So start with just enough water to cover their ears.
Yeah.
It allows them to, still feel the bottom of the tub.
Okay.
As they get used to that sensation of floating, gradually add a little more water, eventually allowing them to like experience a full back float.
That's such a like clever way to introduce the feeling of buoyancy in a safe and controlled environment.
Yes.
It's all about taking those small steps, respecting their individual pace, and like making it fun.
Right.
And this is where those like observational skills really come into play, right?
Absolutely. Every baby is so different.
Right.
Some might be eager to just like dive right in.
Yeah.
Others might need a little more time to warm up to the idea of being submerged. So paying close attention to your baby's cues is like crucial.
So true. Are they happily splashing or are they showing signs of stress? It's about like tuning into their like unique communication style and responding accordingly.
Exactly. And this is where those formal swim lessons can be really, really beneficial.
Yeah.
It's not just about teaching babies to swim. It's about empowering parents with the knowledge and the confidence to support their little ones in the water.
Sasha talked about how swim lessons often become this like incredible support system for parents too. You're all in it together, learning and like navigating this new world with your babies. It's like finding your village.
It's true. And having a skilled instructor like Sasha to like guide you through those early stages can make all the difference.
Oh, yeah.
She acts as this like translator, helping you understand your baby's cues and tailor your approach to their individual needs.
Now, you mentioned earlier that Sasha like encourages parents to take their babies to different pools
Yes.
outside of the regular swim lessons.
Yeah.
What's the reasoning behind that?
It's a fantastic point, and it often gets overlooked. Sasha has observed that children, they tend to behave differently in new environments.
Oh.
Think about it. The water temperature might be slightly different. The lighting might be different. There might be new sights and sounds, things that can be distracting or even a little intimidating
Right.
for those little ones.
It's like anything else, right? We don't want our kids to only be comfortable in one specific environment. We want them to be adaptable. We want them to be resilient. It's like that saying, the best way to learn to swim is in the water.
Right.
But it's not just any water, right? Like exposing them to all those different settings helps them build those adaptable skills.
Yeah, think of it like this. Each new pool is like a new adventure.
Right.
for your little one.
Yeah.
So the more varied those experiences, the more they develop that sense of confidence and resilience in the water.
And Sasha actually gave a great example of this. She was saying that even something as simple as like the color of the pool lining can impact a baby's perception, like their comfort level.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that interesting?
It's fascinating. And it goes to show just how, like, attuned babies are
Right.
to their surroundings.
Hmm.
A darker pool bottom might seem, like, intimidating to them,
Right.
while a lighter one might feel more inviting. And by, exposing them to those variations early on, you're essentially, like, expanding their comfort zone.
It's like giving them a toolkit
Yes.
of experiences to draw from.
Exactly.
So, I mean, for all of you listening, maybe this means like venturing beyond your usual routine. If you've been sticking to, your backyard inflatable pool, maybe it's time to like explore a friend's pool
Right.
or even like a local leisure center.
And you can make those transitions, like, even smoother by incorporating familiar elements.
Oh, good idea.
Bring along their favorite bath toys, sing their special bath time song. Even just like the sound of your voice can be incredibly soothing, reassuring
Totally.
in a new environment.
It's about creating those bridges of familiarity as they
Yes.
kind of navigate all those new experiences. Now, I know you had some specific questions about exposing your little one to different water environments. What were some of your, like, concerns?
I was curious
Yeah.
about how to prepare my baby for, like, swimming in a larger pool,
Okay.
like at a friend's house or like
Yeah.
a public pool, especially because she seemed so comfortable in the bathtub and our inflatable pool at home.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I can understand that you're excited for them to experience those different types of water environments,
Yeah.
but you want to make sure it's a positive experience for them.
Exactly.
And that's where that idea of gradual exposure is key.
Yes.
You don't want to overwhelm them
No.
with too much too soon.
Right. Start by simply, like, visiting the new environment
Okay.
without even actually, like, getting in the water.
Okay.
Let them sit by the edge, dip their toes in, observe the other swimmers.
It's almost like giving them a sneak peek.
Yes.
Letting them acclimate to the sights and sounds
Look at
at
it.
their own pace.
And remember, all those, like, sensory details,
Mm.
they can make a big difference
Right.
for a baby. A larger pool might have echoes, different smells, even just, like, the feel of the water
Right.
might
Yeah.
be different on their skin.
It's amazing how much we take for granted as adults.
Right.
That's like brand new information.
Totally.
Hopefully.
And as they become more comfortable, then you can start with, like, short, playful sessions in the water and just gradually increase the amount of time as they adjust. And this is where, like, all those trigger words and those games that Sasha was talking about could be really, like,
Yes. It's like their little security blanket.
exactly.
Right.
So don't be afraid to, like, sing that bath time song and play Ready Go with the water, whatever
Yeah.
helps them feel safe and secure. And remember, every baby adapts at their own pace.
Right.
Some might, just jump right in.
Yep.
Others might need a little bit more time.
Yeah.
And encouragement. Be patient, be observant, and most importantly, follow your baby's lead.
That's such good advice. So we've covered a lot of ground here, from like the science behind a baby's natural reflexes
Yes.
to the power of like incorporating swimming skills into everyday routines. But one thing that really stood out to me was Sasha's emphasis on like finding that supportive community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She talked about how those early swim classes often, like, blossom into friendships
Yes.
and support systems for both the parents and the babies.
It's like finding your village.
Yes.
And remember that like incredible resource that she mentioned, Lori Lawrence's Worldwide Swim School.
Yes, that's a must explore for anyone listening.
I know. He's amazing. He's this like renowned swimming coach who's basically dedicated his life to like water safety education.
An amazing resource for parents and swim teachers.
We'll be sure to include a link in the show notes.
Yes, and remember, this journey is about so much more than just, teaching your baby to swim.
Right.
It's about fostering that love of water, building their confidence, and equipping them really with essential life skills.
It's about those like shared moments of joy, those like splashes of laughter, and those incredible milestones. So as you embark on this adventure with your little one, Remember to approach it with a sense of playfulness, curiosity, and wonder.
And never underestimate the power of your presence
Yes.
and encouragement.
Be their cheerleader.
You are your baby's greatest advocate in this journey.
This has been an incredible deep dive. You came in with such insightful questions, and thanks to Sasha's wisdom, you're leaving with a wealth of knowledge. And those practical tips to empower you on your swimming journey with your little one?
Be patient, be observant, and most importantly, have fun.
We'll catch you in our next deep dive. Until then, happy swimming.